Hi there. I want to welcome you all to CPS's Literacy Remediation presentation. This evening, we are going to have a quick overview of the components of reading, review of instructional strategies, and discuss the importance of assessment and progress monitoring. But before we begin, I would like to introduce myself. Hi. Our smaller friends call me Mrs. Southwood, but y'all can call me Heather. This is my 8th year in education, but my first year as Blue Ridge Elementary's literacy coach. Prior to this position, I taught kindergarten for 5 years and special education for 2. So this age is truly where my heart lies. Outside of work, you can typically find me with my partner and our 2 dogs outside on the trail, kayaking, or enjoying a nice hike. I hope to learn a little more about you all through this presentation. So let's begin with a quick review over the 5 essential components of reading. Those 5 essential components are phonics, phonemic awareness, vocabulary, fluency, and reading. Phonics is the connection between sound and letter symbol, and the combination of the two to create words. Without phonics, words are simply squiggles on a page. The connection between the individual sound and letter symbol, and then putting those two together is essential for understanding those squiggly lines to articulate. An instructional strategy for phonics would be to utilize magnetic letters. Magnetic letters can be used for a variety of instructional strategies, but specifically for phonics, you can have students match letters to identify pictures and their initial, final, or medial sounds. Let's move on to phonemic awareness. Phonemic awareness also involves the connection between individual sounds and letter symbols, but with the concept that words are created from phonemes, or smaller units of sound. It's the ability to hear and manipulate the phonemes individually. Included within phonemic awareness is phonological awareness, which includes the ability to hear and manipulate units of oral language, such as words, syllables, onset, or rhymes. An instructional strategy that I like to use with phonemic awareness are Elkin boxes. They can be implemented as a great instructional strategies. They build phonological skills by segmenting words into individual sounds or phonemes. They teach our students how to count the number of phonemes in a word. This also helps students have a better understanding of the alphabetic principle in decoding and in spelling. You can use this activity. It can be incorporated into whole group, small group, or even as a response to intervention. Let's move on to vocabulary. The larger a child's vocabulary is, the easier it is for them to make sense of what they are reading. Vocabulary can be learned explicitly or through context clues, meaning that students learn vocabulary just by having conversations with those around them and listening to stories. A great way to incorporate vocabulary development is during a read aloud. Read-alouds are complex instructional interactions where you choose a text, identify the words for vocabulary instruction, and then select a strategy such as labeling or using a graphic organizer to show knowledge. Fluency is the ability to read as well as we speak, all while comprehending text without having to stop and decode each word. Fluent readers can read orally with appropriate speed, all while being accurate with using a proper expression. There are 3 strategies to help students develop reading fluency: choral reading, closed reading, and partner reading, which can all be done during whole group or small group. Choral reading is when the teacher and students are all reading together, following your pace, allowing for the teachers to stop and identify vocabulary, ask questions, and allowing to make connections. Closed reading is very similar to choral, except for the teacher is doing the most of the reading, but every few sentences they pause for the students to read the next word. This next term is usually a vocabulary term or a content word, not one of those easy sight words. The last fluency strategy is asking students to partner read aloud. This gives both students a chance to practice reading with their peers, which also can provide feedback and clarify comprehension. Speaking of comprehension, that's the ultimate goal of reading. What is this text telling me? It is understanding what the text is all about. However, the process of comprehension starts before one is ready to read and continues long after reading is complete. It involves all four of the other aspects of reading while requiring the reader to ask important questions about the text. Similar to vocabulary, comprehension skills develop and improve over time through instruction and practice. One of my favorite comprehension strategies to use in the classroom is to use a story map and a sentence frame. A story map asks students to retell the beginning, the middle, and the end of a story using both pictures and words. We utilize this during virtual instruction through Seesaw, requiring students to record themselves using the microphone and the sentence frames. For instance, they would say, in the beginning of the story, the problem was. During the middle of the story, the end or the solution of the story was. And that's an easy way to upload and check for assessment. Check for comprehension without even having them in seat. Whew, that was a quick one. I know y'all didn't require a deep dive into the 5 components of reading, but my hope is that the instructional strategies provided will be a solid foundation on which you can provide instruction for your students. Moving forward, assessment and progress monitoring. As a district, CPS uses Aimwood Plus for initial screenings, benchmark, and progress monitoring. Additionally, it scores and produces reports for the district. 3 times a year, fall, winter, and spring, students are assessed in both mathematics and reading. If students require progress monitoring, Aimsweb Plus is utilized in addition to RTI. But we need to know more accurate information about our students more than just 3 times a year. So it is essential that you are taking additional documentation to show student growth and development. One suggestion is to rotate monitoring students during guided reading instruction to document through bodies of evidence. For instance, when you ask your students to find the initial sound in the word cat, make a quick informal assessment and note which students were correct or incorrect. This is a skill that many educators do in their head already, but it is really important for grading instances that all informal and formal assessments are documented. That was a lot of information. How are we feeling? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Okay, good. Now this is where I come in, but actually come in your rooms. As I stated in my introduction, this is my first year as a literacy coach, but I've had many years in the classroom actually using the strategies above with my students. I'm here for you in every sense of those words. As your literacy coach, I will be with you to develop RTI plans for your students in need of remediation and find strategies that work both best for you and your student. If you are struggling, have a question, or want to celebrate a gain, email, text, or come find me because I am here for you through the good and through the bad, because we know both are coming. I want to leave you with this quote that I always found beneficial as an educator. The fact that you worry about being a good teacher means that you already are one. That's by Jodi Picoult. I know that many of us worry about our students, our lessons, and how to get those pesky assessments done. But know that your worry is only just yours if you keep it to yourself. I will gladly help you carry your worries to the best of my ability. Thank you.